All right, Bills looking to hit the quarter pole of the NFL season with a perfect record. They are set to head down to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Another primetime game coming up on Sunday. I'm Kevin Carroll. Welcome to the Buffalo End Zone podcast, everyone. Andy Young, a tad under the weather. Stevie Johnson stepping in, former Bills wide receiver Stevie. And we got a lot to talk about as we get ready for this Ravens game that at the beginning of the season looked like two teams would be coming in with equal records. Not the case with the Ravens, but a lot to get to nonetheless.
Yes. Hey, get better, Andy. I got you, teammate. This is what teammates is for. Let's talk about this Ravens team. Yeah, out the gates, it's a big clash of the Titans. You know, you have Lamar Jackson, who's a perennial MVP 2 times, and going up against a Buffalo Bills team that has basically had a whole new identity. You know, so it was only a matter of time before these two clashed, and we're going to see a battle, you know, Sunday night, and a battle that I feel like the Buffalo Bills is going to win easily, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it shapes up on paper right now. And let's start off with one Josh Allen, Bills quarterback, AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Stevie, this is pretty cool. Greg Rousseau, AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Week 1. James Cook, AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Week 2. Josh Allen, you know it was coming at some point this season. He gets it. And Josh Allen, we talked during the postgame show back on Monday night, Tuesday morning, that Allen looks like an MVP right now, and the Vegas odds had him in front after that performance as far as the MVP goes. Josh Allen, I'm telling you, we've been able to watch a lot of NFL games, Stevie, because of the Bills' schedule. They play Thursday night and Monday night. I don't see anyone on Josh Allen's level right now.
Yeah, same. You know, well, actually, I do. I see one guy, and that's Patrick Mahomes. You know, and I think that's where Josh's maturity is at right now. He's not concerned with the accolades. You know, the MVP talk is beautiful, is great, is an honor. However, I feel like Josh's maturity is now, there's only one guy I'm chasing, and that's beating Patrick Mahomes, the guy who had the team that they said was the worst, and he went to the Super Bowl and won it. The guy who had a great team, and they ended up stopping us, 3 years in a row.
Right.
That's the guy who he's thinking about right now. He's not worried about the MVP talk. It's beautiful once again, but I think his mindset is on beating Patrick Mahomes and then going to beat the dominant team of the NFC. And he's got his teammates on that same mindset. And it's easier with this team than it was with teams in the past with other alpha males on the team.
Yeah, and that includes the offensive line, Stevie. And Josh Allen said as much during his press conference this week when talking about AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Allen makes a comment, something to the effect of, you know, I wish the offensive line could win one of these awards. They're never going to win it if you're on the offensive line. Dion Dawkins is never going to win Offensive Player of the Week. That's just not how it goes with those guys up there. But in that win against Jacksonville back on Monday night, I give a lot of credit to the defense, or the offensive line. Josh Allen had a ton of time to just sit back there and wait for something to open up.
Yeah, hey, so Kev, when you want to go clean up your house or, just get peace of mind, what type of music do you put on?
I'll probably listen to a comedian podcast, but
okay, yes, something cool and common.
Yeah, but being where I am, I like the old alt rock of the late 90s, early 2000s, some of that stuff.
Indeed.
Where they would mix together like the rock bands and the rap groups. Like, I love those collaborations. Those songs are they get you moving, Stevie. So if I'm around cleaning the house, if I can't find a fun podcast to listen to, that's my go-to music. And the main place that I know I can get it is, I think there's one alt rock station left, and it's up in Maine somewhere, but they have an app. I got it on my phone. Listen to some of that Blink 182 from back in the day.
Yeah, the cool vibes, man. It puts you at ease.
Yeah.
You know, everything's right. All pieces are different, but they all vibing at the same time. And that peace of mind is that offensive line for Josh. That's his music, his alt rock. For me, it's lo-fi music. You know, you put on some lo-fi and you just vibe out. He can get back there in the pocket after a 2-3 step drop, and he can just vibe out his peace of mind because he knows that all of his moving pieces are moving at the same in the same unison. And that line has given him so much time, and we've seen it last week against the Jaguars. We've been seeing it through and throughout the week in, week out the season so far. It's just beautiful to see, and we'll see how it holds up against an opponent who we deem, or who the community deems worthy, in the Baltimore Ravens.
I love that analogy, Stevie. At first, I was like, wait, where are we going with this? Because I could talk music all day long as well, but I love that. And what you said gives Josh Allen the time to just get in a groove, sit back there, and distribute that football. And again, we talk about this every week. Who's it going to be? It's going to be everyone. What do we have? 10 guys catch the ball last week. Khalil Shakir seems to be pulling ahead as far as he's eating filet mignon. Maybe Keon Coleman, he's still eating appetizers right now. But everything could change. It could be totally different with the Baltimore Ravens this week. We also see Dalton Kincaid getting more in the mix as each game goes by.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You know, you have guys you have options. You know, you have options. That's the beauty in being a quarterback with guys that don't have ego. We said Shakir is eating the steak. He's sharing his steak. That's the difference with Shakir. He's got the steak and he's saying, "Hey, come here. I want you to get some of this too. You might eat more than me. You might have a bigger piece, but he don't care." And that's the beauty in this game. And you know, we're seeing a culture change as far as team wise go. You know, you can have a lot of big name guys, but now we're seeing how you can still lead an undefeated team with guys that, well, only one big name guy. Let's just put it clear, one big name guy, and we have an undefeated team, and we've changed everybody's mindset who had questions about who's the guy going to be. We're flipping that to, you don't have to have a guy. We have everybody. The main thing when it comes to having a 1 and a 2 is when it comes to contract talks and things like that, you know, and that's not for us to talk about and discuss. That's for them behind closed doors, the managers and the players. Right now, as a community, we just want a team that can go up and down the field and be successful throughout the year.
So it's hard to believe you bring up the number 1 wide receiver, and I can't believe it, Stevie. Here we are going into week 4 of the season. Josh Allen once again had to address that this week about comments he made over the summer in regards to Stefon Diggs, who's now, and I'm sure when they get ready for the Texans, that's going to come up again as well. But you could tell Allen's sick of it. I think he was just trying to push the fact that what they have now is working for what Joe Brady wanted to do with this offense, that you don't have to get a certain guy the ball X amount of times per game. And, I mean, I don't blame Josh Allen. He made the comments. They're going to come up every now and then. But when I look at this team right now, I don't care what Stefon Diggs would have done here, is doing in Houston, what happened before, what's going on. What this offense is right now is what this team was evolving to, and you're 3-0 to start the season, and the offense is kicking in high gear.
Indeed. And we're doing what we're supposed to do in that sense of, you see teams like the Cincinnati Bengals who had quarterbacks who was showtime. They was the man, you know, oh, I got the best guys. We're the new team in AFC, and now you see them struggling right now. We can easily be like that, but we're not. And it's showing that we're on a different level when we're playing against these teams. When you go up against Miami Dolphins team that I figure we would beat them after they showed what they showed against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And like I was saying weeks before, like if this team is a Super Bowl team, should the Jaguars scare you? Should the Miami Dolphins scare you? You know, the only team that you should be worried about is the team that you have a grudge with. And let's take that out since we're talking about Steph Diggs. After the Houston game, then I might, if we beat them, if the Bills beat the Houston Texans, then I might think, okay, I'm going to check and see if we have a lag. Like, okay, we've conquered, you know, that battle. We got Gabe. Now we're going to go get Steph. Yeah. If we beat that, I'm going to look for a lag or a layoff. if we don't have that layoff, I know we're super locked in, you know, and that's where the real test is going to come from for me. We'll see what happens with Baltimore. We can continue talking,
Yeah.
but yeah, again, I just feel like when you're on that level of Super Bowl, these teams can't be problems for us.
What has impressed you most with the Bills over their first 3 wins?
I would say the offensive line. You
Yeah,
know,
okay.
when you talked about when Josh said, "Hey, the Deion Dawkins, our guys, they won't get the recognition for Player of the Week and this and that." Ultimately, when you win it, they win it also. The bigger prize when they'll get that recognition is when we win the Super Bowl and you see that collection of what we've seen just now from week 1, like you said, bouncing back. What was he doing? Protecting for week 2 with James Cook. Sorry, James Cook. And then week 3, protecting for Josh, and he's sitting back there passing. Week 4, who knows what it's going to be? Maybe it's another downhill thing with the running game, or you go stand strong and hold and let Josh pick this defense apart. That's what they're showing. And, yeah, you're not going to get the credit or the accolades as far as name-wise, but we'll for sure bring you up on our Buffalo End Zone show. So keep doing what y'all doing, Hogs.
Oh, we always will. I don't want to say you do, but you almost feel bad for the Ravens because pick your poison on defense. A Ravens defense that, to me, early on, Stevie, doesn't look like the Ravens defense that has the reputation of being that kind of beat you down Ravens. Kyle Van Noy is one of their best players. It seems like Kyle Van Noy has been around forever. 2 stints with the Patriots. I don't know where else he went after that, but now he's with the Ravens. And I think that the defense for the Ravens are ripe for the picking with Josh Allen being able to pick them apart. And, if you want to change it up, we're going to send James Cook your way. I would just say James Cook on a downfield pass, maybe they should move away from that. I think Ty Johnson is more of your guy with that. Cook with another tough one, but we're not going to bag on him in this, Stevie, but just so many options there.
Yeah, so many options. Don't be surprised if Sunday night is not a thriller. You know, like you said, should that defense be a threat to us? No. In any given Sunday, any defense can be a threat. But if we're a Super Bowl team, if this Buffalo Bills team is a Super Bowl team, this team is not a threat to us because we've seen already what other teams have done to them early in the season. Not that it matters because you still have to handle your business, but it's just showing with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to keep bringing them up because they are the champs, and that's who we should be chasing. You see them getting these teams, and they're winning these games, but it's a battle. And I really feel like as good as their team is and the experience they have, we have just as much talent and experience. They just won those games. So that's where it's just a toss-up in who's going to control the ball and have the field advantage during those games. So we'll see how this all plays out, but I'm looking forward to seeing a blowout in this Sunday night.
As far as the Ravens go, they lost the opener at the Chiefs, lost their home opener to the Raiders. And again, it's 3 games into the season. Who knows how each team is going to pan out, but that's not a good loss. Losing to the Raiders.
We don't have time for that.
In your home opener. Beat Dallas, but had to hang on to win 28-25. And Dallas able to put up 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns on the Ravens to make it interesting and not just slam the door. So it seems like this Ravens team, even if they get out to a lead on Sunday Night Football, that they're susceptible to the Bills getting their act together like they did against the Cardinals and easily being able to come back on them, which is why I'm with you. I think this is going to be a pretty one-sided affair.
Yeah, and we have to take into the account that this is not a team that has been like stomping on us, or we've had bad history. We've beat this team when they was better than who they are now. So, they're going to come. I think the Bills are going to come in there confident and focused and ready to make a name for themselves and continue the mantra of everybody eating, because now you see, I love that you pointed that out with Greg Rousseau. That was a guy that I believe we was talking about early in the year. If we can get him going, if the Bills can get him going, we're seeing what dominations go be with that offensive or that defensive line, and with a healthy Vaughn, we already knew what we was going to expect with that. But another thing I'm impressed at is how our linebackers have been coming in and playing so mature and strong. It hasn't been perfect, but they are out there playing like fireballs. And I'm glad to see that guys are ready to step in and step up when they need to.
Terrell Bernard will not be back this week when we talk about linebackers. One of the areas that the Bills are going to need to have their A game in is the run defense. Derrick Henry, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns versus the Cowboys, 281 yards, 4 TDs on the season. He's 5th in the NFL right now, Stevie. And the Bills have their track record with trying to stop Derrick Henry when he was with the Titans. I can't even remember the guy he stiff-armed and threw to the ground. Josh Norman. Yeah. A few seasons back or even more at this point. So that is a bit of a concern for me when it comes to this. And, oh, by the way, we talk about Lamar Jackson. He's good at running the ball as well. So that's really an area where the Bills are going to need to lock it up, because I'm not too concerned at this point with the passing game. And their tight end, what's his name, Mark Andrews, hasn't done much of anything so far through 3 games.
Yeah, you bring up some great points. Let's talk with the tight ends, the last one you spoke on. Mark Andrews, I believe Isaiah is his first name, Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
They're good tight ends. When you match them up against our safeties or our DBs, I think what Taylor Rapp has done and DeMar Hamlin has done has shown so much diversity and dynamics, playing high, playing low, being able to match up, and being able to pass off defenders throughout these weeks. I felt like with the Baltimore Ravens, the run game is heavy for them, and that's what makes them dangerous. The thing that I like about the Buffalo Bills is, like what I alluded to earlier, with no matter who the name is, you got guys coming down playing their position, and they're playing downhill. The team, our Buffalo Bills, aren't playing soft. When I say soft, they're attacking the line as opposed to going balanced head to head and trying to read. Our guys are going downhill and reading at the same time. And another thing is, you see the energy. You see gang tackling. You know, the ball is ran here. You don't see only one player attacking and the other one just you see gangbusters. And that's what's going to slow this Baltimore offense down, and is going to get into their mind, because how our energy is jumping around, showing that aggressive attitude and having fun with each other, communicating.
I was joking around earlier with some of the guys in the newsroom that we could have started our post-game show at halftime on Monday night. Like, we could have just watched the rest of the game and told everyone to leave ESPN. We'll sit here and, like the Manning brothers, just watch the game and comment on the second half. Talking to you here, it seems like we might be in for kind of a replay, but with the Bills on the road, I don't know.
That's funny you said that. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, like, we kind of blown them out. But if we did jump on, will it kind of jinx them? We didn't want that to happen.
Right.
So, hey, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the future now? Good job, Bills. You creating opportunities for even the Buffalo end zone show. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's just keep it rolling with that. It seems like as the weeks go on, the Bills look more and more comfortable. And I'm not saying things look like they're coming easy. I would never say that when you're talking about the NFL. But it does look like what they're trying to do, they're being pretty successful at. And again, we talk about the Chiefs. Once they're not Super Bowl champions, maybe we can move on from them. But
indeed,
to me, it's the Bills, as long as they keep operating the same way on offense and defense. I don't want to say have an easy time. Again, I don't want to go back to that. But you got to have confidence going into this game.
Yes. You have to have ultra confidence going into this game, understanding that these are little brothers. You know, this is your little brother. They put up a good fight because they was trying, and they have this elite quarterback, you know, but we went to their house and we beat them, you know, under conditions that we're used to. You know, any condition is our weather. That's the mindset that they have to go in there with. You know, I'm going to continue to say it because I love seeing players that's from late rounds or that just had to persevere and grind from the bottom of the depth chart. our team has shown that perseverance, and these guys, I just love what I'm seeing. I heard you speaking a little bit on Joe Andreessen getting action.
Yeah.
It's this team is complete, and they just got to continue to show it week in and week out.
It's good to see, and hopefully within the next few weeks they get healthier. They get Bernard and Taron Johnson back, and then that just adds to what they have out here. Let's do the fun part, Stevie. Less business, more fun coming down the stretch here. Ravens going all black for this primetime game. Not a big fan of the all one color uniform. Don't like the Bills doing it with the blue and the red, but all black, there's something special about that, and I'm assuming the Bills will go with all white to counter that.
Yeah, I would love to see if they did come out with the all white with a red helmet. That would be nice. I know that won't happen, but that would be pretty cool. Yeah, but yeah, I remember playing in college, man, and from college and high school, we all had the one color uniform. It was either the all green, all white, or we had in college it was all blue with Kentucky.
I remember
and then I
that.
finally got to Buffalo and got a little mix. You know, we had variety, even though we did have the navy blue on navy blue.
Yeah.
But we also switched it up with the blue tops and the white pants, and I enjoyed that. I love getting dressed up.
Yeah, it's fun to look a little different for each game. And like I said, the all black, like, I'm not a fan of the purple, but like I think they have purple and gold they wear sometime. That's kind of weird. But the all black school, let's go. Bet MGM, Stevie, is what I go to as far as Ravens -2.5 in this one. You and I have talked about we think the Bills are going to have it pretty easy. But again, it's week 4 of the season. That seems legit to me with the Ravens being at home, favored by a field goal. But I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, man. You know, and it's funny how those sports books go. It seems like they be on with it. But we know our Buffalo Bills, and I'll say we're gonna probably beat them by 10 or more.
Yeah, maybe you get to 4-0. Some of this road underdog stuff starts to change because they do have a pretty decent road trip coming up. Over under for this one, 46.5. I'm looking at this final score. Bills 34, Ravens 17. Take the over in this one. I think maybe it's like 34-10 and the Ravens get a late touchdown to make it a little more interesting. And
I'm with you.
You know, no one trusts Vegas, so you get the over. Everyone who took the under, which is boring to take the under anyhow.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, actually. That 30-ish to 10, 17-ish, that's where I'm at with it also. If they do score 24, then, hey, we got us a little work that we got. Okay, that's good. We ready.
Yeah.
But I think we still dominate this game.
You look at the Ravens, they've allowed 25 points, 26 points, 27 points to the Raiders, the Cowboys.
Indeed.
And the Chiefs.
Teams that's not on our level.
And I just see the Bills having that much more in them. All right, Stevie. 3 and out time, 3 questions. We have time to spend on this because I noticed something today that's a pretty cool thing. But we'll start with this. Who's the most overrated 3-0 team in the NFL right now that leaves you scratching your head? Mine is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I never envisioned the Steelers getting off to a 3-0 start, possibly 4-0. They're one of the last 5 teams unbeaten. You got the Chiefs, you got the Bills, you got the Steelers.
Vikings, right?
Vikings. And I don't know who the 5th team is, but I'm locked in on the Steelers. I don't know how they're doing it. Obviously, Mike Tomlin is a great coach, and Andy Young and I joked around at the beginning of the season because of where we live, not too many Steelers fans around here, and you're just left scratching your head. Mike Tomlin can have whoever at quarterback is going to get his 10 wins and get the Steelers in the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I thought the Steelers, it was their year to really grow and show if they went over the hump. You know, they brought in a kid who came from a place where he had his bruises and his battles, and now he's seasoned and primed to be and to go on to be an elite quarterback. And then you also have the skill position there that's been there going through the bumps again for like 1 to 2 years, I believe. Now most of those guys in that draft class is in their 3rd and 4th year. So they already had like the the pieces there. They just had to have it all come together at the right time. And right now it seemed like it's meshing. And I'm not surprised by Pittsburgh. I am surprised with the Minnesota Vikings. Not saying that I felt like they was a bad team, but I didn't expect them to be undefeated. I didn't expect them to beat the San Francisco 49ers. And what they're showing right now is they're a real threat. Is that the new beast out on the West Coast or in the NFC? So we'll see. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the Minnesota Vikings play out in the NFC.
Yeah, and the quarterback. Why am I blanking on who the quarterback is? He was in Josh Allen's draft class.
Yeah, Darnold is
Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
struggled with he looks like a completely different player right now. When you sit there and watch him passing the ball to the Vikings offense, Sam Darnold looks like a completely different player through 3 games this season.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's about experience, man. It's about experience, and then it's about finding that coordinator that you just mesh with. Sometimes there's quarterbacks that's really good, and they just don't mesh with that OC or the head coach, whoever's calling the calls or plays, and people just get rid of that quarterback. And I think that's been what Darnold has fell victim to. He just wasn't connecting with the right teams or the right OC. But we've seen him in a spot where he's not trying to be perfect. He's just trying to go out there and play ball and get the ball to the playmakers, and you're seeing it.
Stevie, today is the anniversary. I came across this today of a pretty big win by the Buffalo Bills. 2011 over the New England Patriots. Stevie Johnson, 8 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown. Donald Jones led the way because he had that huge touchdown in it.
Screen, yeah.
Go on to beat the Patriots, Stevie. I bring this up because A, it's the anniversary. B, you played in it. C, my parents from the Boston area flew out here for the game because easy win for the Patriots early in the season. This is a lock. We're going to come out and see a Patriots win. Went to the game with my wife, and were dumbfounded at the end when the Bills put the beating, kneeling the ball down in front of the tunnel, getting that Ryan Lindell field goal. Just your thoughts on that day and how big it was. Because, Stevie, there were people, Bills fans, crying in the stands because you guys were able to pull that off to get to 3-0.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I'm just going to add that feeling up with what the Bills Mafia is feeling on the day in, day out basis. Right now the Bills Mafia is everywhere, is beloved everywhere. Everybody know them for their energy, their support, their tailgates. And that day when we beat those Patriots, that mighty Patriot team, everybody ate. And on top of that, you just see, I'm pretty sure there was also Patriot fans that enjoyed that stadium and that atmosphere, and that's a testament to the Bills Mafia. That's just how it felt. That win had the players seeing the fans jumping around, staying late. It was just ecstatic, and I think the similar feeling is how the Mafia is feeling right now with this team that they've been having for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah, I mean, that start to that season, I think you guys had to come back against the Eagles or the Raiders the week before. This one, you guys were down a lot to a Patriots team that was a juggernaut at the time. Do you remember anything that went on with, Fitz was the quarterback then. Fred Jackson had that huge run where he came up just shy of the end zone. Everyone thought he got in, but they put the ball down at the 1. But anything you remember about, okay, we are facing an uphill battle now, and you guys pulled it off?
You know what? No, all I can remember is it just seemed like a nice day in Buffalo with the crowd. Just the energy was like never let down, never give up. The guys on the field, I feel like Fitz had broken ribs that game. I'm trying to remember, but I can't really remember all the way if that was the game. But I'm pretty sure Fitz had a broken rib, and he continued, and then I think Drayton Florence got an interception or a fumble recovery or something.
Right.
And then, it was just the crowd went crazy. It was just like a whole bunch of energy, man. And I can just assume that's how it felt, last Monday night, seeing that how the team came out and then the energy that the Bills Mafia provided.
Tom Brady picked off 4 times in that game. Drayton Florence taking one to the house. Such a cool memory. Like I said, when you have, for my part, family out here talking trash the entire time. I think my wife had a Jim Kelly jersey on going to the game, and my parents were yapping that they'll never be as good as when Jim Kelly was here ever again. But now, like you said, here we are, and New England's now at the bottom like they were when I grew up, so they'll enjoy that for a while, and the Bills are riding high.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Final question of this 3 and Out. Have you, by any chance, checked out that Aaron Hernandez miniseries on FX?
I haven't seen the FX, but when it was all happening in the past, yeah, I did check it out. I did dive into it, and I was saddened, to be honest, because it was a guy that I thought his skill set was so good. It was similar to like mine as far as coming to balance, being able to juke and just the explosiveness, as a tight end. It was just sad, man, because, it's like you feel like you have all these opportunities. You work so hard to get to a certain level, but it's still that mental warfare, and, it's just unfortunate to see it. But, it is what it is. Just prayers to his family and like his daughter and things like who didn't have anything to do with this and,
right.
Things like that.
Just tragic all around. But, yeah, mini-series on FX. I've watched a couple of episodes. It kind of brings you back to that time, and we've seen documentaries on it. I think this group did a O.J. Simpson one as well. All right, Stevie, that's it. We'll focus on football now, and the Bills getting off to a 4-0 start. Used to be quarter of a way through the season if you get to game 4. Now there's that extra game, but when we looked at the schedule originally coming out, that was, well, you really got to win against Arizona because Miami's going to be tough, and Jacksonville always has your number. And bang, bang, bang. I'm with you. At the end of the day, I don't think the Ravens are what everyone thought they were going to be going into the season. But again, you never know. It's only 4 games in.
Exactly. And they have an MVP, so you can never count them out, of course. But again, like we said, we should beat them. And I feel like when we really should start paying attention is how the Houston Texans game go. I'm glad. I don't want to sound like a hater or nothing, but I am glad to see the Houston Texans get beat on how they did by the Minnesota Vikings, because when I saw those Houston Texans playing on either Monday night or Sunday night, they had energy that kind of scared me. And I do feel like we still have the better team, but it's a whole nother ball game when it comes to energy and momentum. Things happen. You never know with the chatter. A lot of things can happen. So I feel like once we pass this Houston Texans test, if the Bills do, then let's see what happens with the next game or two and see how focused our team is.
You have the Bills losing 1 game. Since you bring up the Texans game against the Bears, I thought the Texans should have done a lot better against Caleb Williams and the Bears. I mean, that second half, fourth quarter, it was interesting to watch because of what was happening. But if you're a fan of scoring points, that was just a dud when that game hit the second half.
Yeah, and the Bears, sorry, Chicago, but y'all defense is soft. You know what I'm saying? The defensive line, it ain't getting no push. The linebackers is still waiting 5 yards, 3-4 yards behind the line before they even get to that's already giving the offense that's going downhill 4 yards. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't add up. And then the offense was maybe it was because of the injuries. When I found out Keenan Allen was down, I wanted to see what the other guys was going to do, and they didn't do anything. And then the Houston Texans barely had a blowout against a team that should have, like how we did, the Buffalo Bills did against the Jaguars. It should have been something like that. But we'll see what happens when we get our run against them boys.
All right, Bills Texans down the road. Bills Ravens coming up on Sunday Night Football. And as always, Stevie and I will be with you in the Buffalo and Rochester markets with the Buffalo End Zone postgame show that comes up right after the game ends on Sunday night. Monday morning, we'll be with you. Our show, we'll hear from players and coaches. And hopefully Andy Young will be better by then because he's got to travel down to Baltimore at some point this weekend. For Stevie Johnson, I'm Kevin Carroll. As always, thanks for joining us.